Antibiotic resistance has been declared a global emergency by the World Health Organization, which predicts 2 million serious infections or illnesses and 23,000 deaths each year.
Now, at the end of March, the White House announced to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention a 5-year, $1.2 billion program to fight these so-called superbugs, which are becoming more prevalent. Herbal Pharmacist Dave Foreman is here with more on this. We're talking about a very serious issue because who has not been prescribed antibiotics in their lifetime? And we are just inundated by them.
Yeah, I found this really interesting study that they did. They found out the average American consumes 1 course of antibiotics a year. So what I did was I thought
some more than
some more than that.
Definitely.
Actually, in some states where had more prevalence of infections. So that jar right there represents what the average American will consume in antibiotic tablets or capsules in their lifetime.
Wow. Yikes.
It's over 1,600. And I literally counted each one individually. Just kidding.
So the more we have, the more these antibiotics become resistant to whatever we're trying to fight.
Yeah, more staggering though that 80% of the antibiotics manufactured in the United States end up going into the agriculture industry. So you may not ever take an antibiotic like me, but if you don't eat organic meat, beef, pork, chicken, that kind of stuff, you're taking antibiotics every day of your life.
Sure, and your chicken and your beef and your, So how is this causing these so-called superbugs?
Well, the more and more bacteria get exposed to antibiotics, the more and more they're going to mutate. They change their genetic profile so that the antibiotic that used to kill them doesn't.
Right. And
we're seeing that a lot in livestock now especially. So what I'm telling people is if you are going to get exposed to antibiotics, one way or another you're going to. So as opposed to taking, and Jerry, you said earlier, like if I ever have to take an antibiotic, maybe I'll take a probiotic.
Oh, no, that's the only time I take probiotics. But what you're suggesting is we should all be taking probiotics all the time?
Right. I was just teaching a group of medical doctors that I think a probiotic is something that you need to take on a daily basis. It's more important than your multivitamin.
Really?
Especially when we're talking about superbugs and prevention. So taking, and I've got an example. These are my probiotics from home.
Okay.
It's just a little tablet, but it's specifically made with a technology called GI Guard. And what GI Guard does is it protects these bacteria from your stomach acid. If you take a probiotic, stomach acid's probably going to kill those bacteria, just like it would any other type of bacteria. You want it to get through to your small and large intestine. So taking something like a probiotic that has GI Guard, and like I said, this is the one I use, so it protects all the good stuff in here from acid, gets to the small intestine, expands and...
But do you get enough probiotic if you eat yogurt?
No, new studies out of Europe are showing that even the food sources of probiotics like kefir and yogurt and sauerkraut really aren't as effective as truly taking a probiotic, and especially with the exposure we need to do it. So
we have a big honking plate of mushrooms here.
Delicious.
Yeah, especially, go for it.
Let's quickly talk about why mushrooms are so important.
Mushrooms, especially the medicinal ones like shiitake, reishi, maitake, contain components that actually activate your immune system. Now the problem is that most people are going to cook them, and when you cook a mushroom, you're going to, or cook anything in your food, you're probably going to destroy the beneficial components.
Okay.
So what I'm recommending is look for a medicinal mushroom extract. I use travel, I think we've talked about this before in travel segments. I use something called AHCC. This is actually scientifically studied, over 25 human clinical trials showing how it affects my immune system, supports it. Because we're going to get exposed to stuff, and bacteria, viruses, whatever, we need to amp up our immune system. Pomegranates are super high in antioxidants, and anytime we can consume more antioxidants, we're going to boost our immune function. And they're actually tasty. You can buy pomegranate juice. You can buy pomegranates and try to figure out how to get the seeds out.
How do you get the seeds out?
Well, you cut the top off like I did here, and then they're suggesting you take a knife and go right down each one of these veins, and then just pop it open, and the seeds will pop right out.
And they are delicious.
Good for
Dave
you.
Foreman.
Taking my probiotic right now.
There, good man.
All right.
Be right back.